Транспортная логистика этого региона уникальна. Здесь пересекают...
The transport logistics system of this region is unique. Here all of Kazakhstan's transport arteries intersect: air, railway and auto transport. And the highways in the direction of bordering Uzbekistan, other Central Asian republics, as well as in the direction of Russia and the Trey-Seka transport corridor also pass through here. That is why the South Kazakhstan region can be considered as the true southern gates of our republic. Hello, my name is Danyar Batyrbayev, and you're watching the program Route to the Future. As you may have guessed, at the moment we're in the South Kazakhstan region.
Казахстанской области.
The total territory of this region is 117,349 square kilometers. The population, 2,734,000 people. The population density is 22 persons per square kilometer. Among all the regions of Kazakhstan, this is the highest figure. If we take a look at the most foundational parameters, then in terms of its transit potential, the South Kazakhstan region is considered to be one of the most promising in the country. Undoubtedly, the country's plans connected with the development of its infrastructure played their role. These plans, first and foremost, include the construction of the transnational corridor, Western Europe, Western China. It is expected that the cargo volume along Kazakhstan's section of the corridor will reach 30 million tons annually. This corridor will connect not only China, Kazakhstan, Russia and Europe. Countries of Central Asia will also have access to it, such as Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. All these expectations, including regarding the South Kazakhstan region, are connected across the territory through which this international highway passes. This is where the historical and geographic center of the ancient Silk Way is located. This is a sort of a road fork, and what's more, it was not artificially created. This is the section of the Silk Way which was used 2,000 to 3,000 years ago.
Древнее название города Шымкент.
The ancient name of the city of Shymkent is Chemengen. The remnants of the city of the Middle Ages were discovered not far from modern Shymkent. Chemengen connected Taras and Shash, which is today the capital of Uzbekistan, Tashkent. This was one of the main centers of the Silk Road. From here, caravans from the east moved towards the west and back, transporting textiles, arms, swords, copper and iron.
Мечи, медь и железо.
Today, different cargo is being transported along this route, and the region holds different prospects. In terms of special geographic aspects, the South Kazakhstan region is the very case when the transport corridor will affect not only the economy of Kazakhstan, but also its neighboring countries.
Of course, this is huge and important and will transform the entire region, everywhere from China to Western Europe. Kazakhstan and Astana have a role to play in that. Related to that is the idea of building up transport hubs.
Future transformations are visible already today through the prism of the special features of the South Kazakhstan region of the Western Europe, Western China corridor. It already passes along the following routes: A2, Horgos, Almaty, Taras, Shymkent, border with Uzbekistan, and M32, Shymkent, Samara.
От Шымкента до Ташкента столица.
It is a distance of only 100 kilometers between Shymkent and Tashkent. The ancient city of Shash was one of the key centers of the caravan route. And today, Uzbekistan is still an important trade and economic partner of not just Kazakhstan, but also China. That is why within the framework of the transnational Western Europe, Western China corridor, it would have been illogical not to include this section, Shymkent-Tashkent, into the plans of the revival of the Silk Road.
Возрождение шелкового пути.
The countries of Central Asia, including Kazakhstan, are limited in terms of direct access to world markets through sea routes. That is why the Western Europe, Western China transnational corridor will create favorable conditions of trade simultaneously for countries of Europe and the Asia-Pacific region. As a result, they will be able to become participants of the global system of trade. We are clearly stating that everybody should be able to benefit from this, on conditions of equal, mutual and multilateral benefit. These are pretty clear conditions. For the Eurasian Economic Union, the South Kazakhstan region is considered as the southern gates, which open up the path, first and foremost, to seasonal products. The warm season commences here earlier than in other countries of the Eurasian integration, and in conditions of high demand for agricultural products, this is the determining factor.
Фактор, который мы имеем, он определяется погодой территориальным расположением, климатическими условиями.
For us, the weather, territorial location, and climate conditions are key factors. This is our advantage over Europe and the southern part of Russia, a time window of 2 to 3 weeks.
2-3 недели.
And this time advantage fully allows to realize the transport of cargo along the Shymkent-Samara highway, which is an important branch of the Western Europe-Western China corridor. The length of this section from Shymkent to the neighboring Kozlordai region is 210 kilometers. This branch was reconstructed and commissioned within the framework of the project. The quality of the road has already been assessed by experts, drivers, and representatives of foreign logistic companies. This road has a concrete foundation, and as you can see, there are no problems. First, we tried them out ourselves. We saw the roads firsthand and found out that they have been improved. We can see that clearly. The role of the South Kazakhstan region as the transit intersection junction within the region of Central Asia forces potential investors to look differently at this region. In the recent times, regular international forums with participation of representatives of the Eurasian Economic Commission, banking and business circles of Western countries have been taking place in Shymkent. Their intent to commence long-term projects here speaks of the new evaluation of the region's potential. The government has invested great funds and is reviving the Silk Route, which connects Europe and China through Kazakhstan. This is also very important. We're seeing improvements in the systems of logistics, and that is why we're very interested and are going to work in this region. Coming up, how the natural landscape affects the map of the road.
The
The landscape of the South Kazakhstan region has its own specificities. In the east and southeast, the hills of the western Tian Shan Mountains are located. Within the framework of the Western Europe-Western China transport corridor, this section is close to the border of the neighboring Jambul region. And during the realization of the project, a question arose: how to optimally lay out the route of the road in the mountainous areas. The mountainous landscape introduced some changes into the road construction plans. First of all, this concerns the section Shymkent-Jambul region border, practically the entire route of which passes through this area. This road passes through this passage. It is a difficult section. That is why a lot of excavation works were done here before. We fortified the foundation of the earth, at times raised it leveled it out, in order to have the least possible number of drop sections at higher levels. But even this approach required rethinking the technical and economic evaluation. In particular, the road construction project on one of the sections was completely altered due to the difficult conditions.
По первоначальному проекту предусматривался там затяжной подъем, и необходимо было делать...
According to the initial project, a long uphill section was to be made, which would require digging a pit of more than 40 meters in depth. What's more, this region is very windy and there will be difficulties with its exploitation. That is why a decision was made to build a tunnel along this section.
Решение построить туннель на этом участке.
And this decision turned out to be the most optimal. First of all, the cost of the construction of this tunnel fit within the initial budgetary plans. Second of all, the tunnel will ensure a safe and uninterrupted movement of transport in the winter period. Third of all, this engineering structure will serve longer than an open ascending road. And finally, the cost of exploitation of the tunnel will be substantially lower. This locality demanded the building of a tunnel. If in the deep descents, blasting works of 850,000 cubic meters are required, then with the construction of this tunnel, it requires only 310,000 cubic units. For Kazakhstan, this is the first experience of building a tunnel. That is why this project was entrusted to specialists from Iran and Turkey who have experience in this sphere. By the way, in world practice, there are only two methods of tunnel building. In essence, the first method entails excavation and blasting of rock. The second does not entail blasting in the process of tunnel digging. We dig the tunnel using a tunnel boring machine.
Only by machine.
Because the total length of the tunnel is not that long, around 1.5 kilometers, a decision was made to use the drill and blasting method. Construction was planned to be finished by the end of 2015. However, specialists faced some problems, the solution of which required additional work. In the end, the project completion date was pushed back to 2016.
There
are places where there is soft rock. That is why preliminary timber framing is prepared and cement is used. Thus, in the second quarter of 2016, we'll fully fortify the road with concrete, complete the works on paving and lighting. Coming up next, when a detour is better than the straight route. The administrative center of the region, Shymkent, is the second largest city of Kazakhstan. Its total territory is 1,170 square kilometers. Almost 880,000 people live here. And in terms of population density, this large city is considered to be one of the most densely populated. In addition, a high level of traffic flow is observed on the city roads. In order to balance out the traffic and lower the intensity of transport flow within the city's limits, within the framework of the project Western Europe, Western China, construction of a road bypassing Shymkent was planned.
Реконструкция старой объездной дороги предполагала расширение.
Reconstruction of the old bypass road entailed widening of the road surface twofold. But Shymkent has a high built-up density and a shortage of unoccupied lands. Inevitably, a need arose to purchase the lands adjacent to the highway section. Preliminary estimates show that this would require substantial amounts of expenditures of budget funds. And then a project of building a new bypass road was suggested.
Новой объездной дороги.
The length of this road is 30 kilometers. Just like the entire highway, it is of a 1B category. It was built with 4 lanes, each with a width of 3 meters and 75 centimeters. 2 lanes in one direction and 2 in the other. Dividing barriers and lanes are provisioned for as well. Aside from Shymkent, the project includes the construction of the Mashat passover.
Было разработано технико-экономическое обоснование, на основании которого был...
The technical and economic feasibility plan was developed, on the basis of which the design and estimate documentation was prepared. Here, first and foremost, the safety of traffic movement was considered, and to ensure that the road has an adequate throughput capacity.
Соответствует пропускную способность.
Coming up next, the most resistant road surface for highways. What determines its choice?
Цемент – один из главных компонентов.
Cement, one of the main components of modern road surfaces. A cement concrete surface is distinguished by high durability, resistance to humidity, level surface, and the most important, a long exploitation period. In conditions of an intense traffic flow, this is one of the main advantages of this type of surface. Its manufacture is a complex process. It has a number of stages, and the technology used requires compliance with certain requirements. The first stage is preparation of the Earth's surface. It is leveled, then gravel is poured to act as an underlying layer with a thickness of 30 centimeters. This layer is composed of a sand-gravel mixture. Next is the layer composed of crushed stone and sand fortified by cement. And only then is all this covered with cement concrete. Its thickness reaches 27 centimeters. In order to ensure the durability of the surface, special plasticizers are added to the concrete. By the way, the main part of the South Kazakhstan road section of the Western Europe, Western China is covered with this type of surface, except 2 sections, the road approaching the tunnel and from Turkestan to the border with the Kazakh region. Here, stone mastic asphalt is used for the road surface. The choice of concrete as a surface material for the highway was motivated by 2 factors, traffic intensity and the region's potential in terms of availability of construction materials. There are 3 large cement manufacturing plants operating in the South Kazakhstan region. They produce cement out of materials that are delivered from local quarry sites.
4 компонент: известняк, көмір,
Four components are used as basic materials. These are limestone, coal, sand, and clay. The limestone and sand quarries are located about 75 kilometers away from here, in the Tulkubas region. We transport the raw materials using our own train wagons. Locally produced materials are also used in the production of stone mastic asphalt by this enterprise in the South Kazakhstan region. Overall, the share of local content in the production of materials in this region exceeds 90%. Seven foreign and 2 joint companies are taking part in the construction of the South Kazakhstan highway section, and the share of foreign specialists does not exceed 10%. That is why the recommended share of Kazakhstani workers is also fully complied with, and construction workers, as well as field specialists, all pass the necessary training. They learned a lot on how to work with concrete, how to saw cut joints. Within the framework of the Western Europe-Western China project, specialists of Kazakh TV-eng also passed trainings abroad on how to conduct service and maintenance of concrete road surfaces. Coming up next, what makes a road smart and what technologies will come to the aid of drivers.
Только в одном Казахстане сегодня насчитывается...
Only in Kazakhstan there are 414,000 cargo vehicles. After the full-fledged launch of the transport corridor Western Europe-Western China, millions of heavyweight cargo vehicles will be passing by through the territory of our country. You can imagine how much the cargo traffic flow will increase, as well as the road surface load.
на дорожное полотно.
One of the questions that often arises at the time of commissioning of new roads, which comply with international standards, is their future maintenance, because ensuring the proper state and conditions of the highway entails substantial costs. Funds are needed for things like lighting, greening, snow removal, small repairs, servicing of road signs, and line markings. Considering its standard rating, the South Kazakhstan section of the Western Europe-Western China highway will be a toll-paid road. By the way, Kazakhstan already has experience with toll roads. Special arcs are set up along the Astana-Borovoy highway, which register the movement of transport. For heavyweight transport, a fee is collected, the size of which depends on the weight and type of cargo. Increased transit potential in south of the country, particularly in the South Kazakhstan region, has already attracted the interest of companies that specialize in cargo transport. This sector is growing. According to the sector-specific association, already today it ensures employment of around 300,000 people. These are primarily small and medium businesses. That is why the use of automated toll systems is not the only novelty that will be introduced along the Western Europe-Western China highway. Almost on every platform which is organized for the discussion of issues related to road construction, transit and logistics, smart technologies for ensuring transport safety are being demonstrated. For example, a simulation program for preparing drivers of heavyweight transport and managed specialists of transport companies. These educational programs, with their specialized software, allow to set concrete conditions, weather, time, traffic intensity, axle load, and even type of cargo. For example, a driver is transporting liquids in a cistern.
Так как речь идет о цистерне с жидким содержимым,
because we're talking about a cistern with a liquid content, one needs to be careful on the turns, because there is the inertia force. We see the light, side mirrors, thus everything simulates real conditions.
подключено к реальным условиям.
Forewarned is forearmed. This principle directly relates to the road transport system. The plans are to commission the South Kazakhstan section of the Western Europe-Western China transit corridor by the beginning of 2017. But all the nuances that may arise with its exploitation have to be taken into consideration in advance to ensure the safety and comfort of those traveling along.
Сегодня мы рассказали о Казахстане.
Today we told you about the Kazakhstan section of the Western Europe-Western China transit corridor, which passes through the South Kazakhstan region. But our travels across this region have not come to an end. In the next episode of our program, find out how its regional center, the city of Shymkent, is preparing to try on its new role as the hub of the Greater South region. My name is Danyar Batyrbayev. Until next time.
На пути в будущее